Hello there, what's crack? I like it. I'm Scotty, you're not, and welcome back to Tubi Tuesday. Yes. There's a pimple there. Anyway. Alright, so I'm finally able to talk about the movie I want to, because by the time I went to watch this, stupid horse race was over. Fish Called Wanda. 20 years in the making, me watching this. Back in the early 2000s, we had the play at home game, DVD game called Shout It Out Movies, or Shout About Movies, and the Shout About TVs. So we had one TV, we had, I don't know if we had all of the movie ones, but we had a lot of them. My mom's friend at the time brought one over and we were playing them, and so we started buying them. I ended up with them here. Don't play with Eric. He just likes to shout for no reason. You have to shout the right answer, not just any answer. Because, he's got to be loud. But, yeah. And seeing clips of A Fish Called Wanda, my mom always told me it was a good movie. It's a funny movie. So, and for years, I thought I'd get a DVD from eBay, whatever, and I saw it on here, so I put it on the list, and it made the final cut for these when I was going through and whittling down from the 25 that I had. I was supposed to whittle down 25 to 13, and I could only get the 15 because there was 2 extra ones I wanted to do. So, here it is. A Fish Called Wanda, directed by someone with the last name Crichton. So is it George Crichton? I don't know. Written by Crichton and John Cleese. Apparently John Cleese also did some uncredited directing, but I guess he didn't do much. And starring John Cleese, Kevin Kline, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Palin. Yeah. John Cleese's daughter is also in this. But it's about a crew of 4 jewelry thieves who steal jewelry, and then 2 of them plan to double-cross the ringleader, George, and send him to prison. However, George had the foresight to suspect something and took the jewels from where the diamonds from where they are and hid them somewhere else, to which the only other person who knows is the 4th member, Ken, the stuttering Ken, played by Michael Palin. So now, Wanda, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, has to seduce his lawyer, Archie, played by John Cleese, in order to get information. Yes. This movie is weird. It's goofy throughout, but once you get to the climax, it really gets goofy, and I guess that's because of reshoots. The reshoots sometimes can either help or hurt a film. See Justice League for ones that hurt the film, but there are sometimes ones that help make it better. I also say that reshoots hurt Halloween Resurrection. Decker coming to save the main character in that makes more sense than Busta Rhymes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It would have worked with him. Oh, I do like his line. Look at, like some Kentucky Fried motherfucker. That's how he says that. But, yeah. I said there were reshoots. So, like I said, instead of being like maybe so we actually see the bank robbery, unlike Reservoir Dogs, where we just say we're gonna get ready to do this, and then cut to after everything happened and everything's so like a gunpoint situation. No, we see the robbery, and then Wanda and Otto, who's Kevin Kline's character, so they lie and say that Otto is her brother, but is secretly her lover, because she is also supposedly the lover of of George, the ringleader guy whose actor I do not know. And Ken is her roommate. Now, the title Fish Called Wanda comes from the fact that Ken keeps a bunch of fish in his fish tank, and one of them is named Wanda. So I was confused at one point because, I don't know, I mean, maybe I wasn't paying attention for a certain part. But, so what happens is they frame George, they call the police, and this, I didn't realize at first this takes place in England. But they call the police show up and arrest George, but they don't really have any proof, you know. They need proof. There's also a witness, we'll get to her, but so Wanda, you know, they go to see, they act like, you know, like, oh, what happened? It was, how did they know? Someone squealed, I don't know who, but like, it's pretty obvious it was one of them, obviously, you know. But then they realize, well, we have to figure out that when they realize that George moved the diamonds, they then have to have Wanda seduce Archie to get the thing. And Archie, we find out, is in a loveless marriage with his wife. It's one of those relationships you see in movies or TV shows where, like, all she does is yell at him, basically. They have a daughter together, and the daughter's a little bratty, like a teenager at this point, you know. He's in a loveless marriage, so he ends up accepting this affair that he's going on with, you know. So when the inception of this actually came from that John Cleese and this Crichton guy wanted to make a movie together. Crichton, veteran in British cinema, British comedy cinema, I guess. Of course, John Cleese from Monty Python, Michael Palin as well. They wanted to work on this movie together, and the two things that they came up with that they had to work the movie around was one guy had a stutter. We'll talk about that. And another guy would get ran over by a steamroller. Those are the two things, and they built the movie around it. Both of those are in here. Ken is the stuttering person, and let me tell you, as someone who has had a stutter, I still do it from time to time. Mine's not predominant as him. It's just sometimes it's less prominent than it was. But sometimes when I go to say stuff, it's hard for me to get out words, and I don't know why. I haven't figured out why it happens. It just does. Sometimes I go to say something, and it's more of an inconvenience than it is like a psychological issue or something. And it just, you know, I want to say it, and I can't say it. I make a weird face sometimes. One time, I had to stop and just breathe because I was trying to say it. Because I couldn't get it out in time before I had to breathe. But I'm better at it now. It only happens every once on a blue moon. Blue moon. Bing, ding, dang, a ding, a ding, ding, blue moon. Because it's blue, you see. Although my brother won't be able to tell, he'd think it's purple. We even messed with him. Oh yeah, what color is this? Blue. Lucky guess. Anyway, so yeah, my brother's colorblind, and I had a bit of a stutter. So, but the way they portray Michael Palin's stutter in this, Ken's stutter, excuse me, it's over the top. It's over the top, you know, because there is one particular scene towards the end where Archie is trying to get the information out of him. He's going, write it down, man, write it down. And he has to write it down. And then write down a hotel. Hotel where? Google. Just take me there. Which makes sense. Instead of trying to get information from someone who started to say, you know what, just take me there. And forget about all this. Just take me there, you know. The stutter can get on your nerves sometimes, but it's not overly done. You know what I mean? Not overly done, but it works, I guess. So does Kevin Kline's performance, and he rightfully so won a Best Supporting Oscar for this, and he is one of the best things in this movie. There are several times where he will just show up, even though it may not be probable. Like, so Wanda shows up at Archie's house to seduce him, with it being that Archie's wife and daughter have gone out, but we see that there's like a flat tire or something stopping them from leaving. It still takes forever for them to get back into the house, but when she shows up, she starts to seduce him, and he goes to get the champagne. But then Otto shows up, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I want to make sure everything was going," because he's jealous, because they're also sleeping together, even though he's supposed to be her brother. But then, as he goes to leave, the wife comes back. She has to hide behind the door. And then Archie comes in, champagne, and whoop! Because his wife is there. And he's like, and then, so then she's like, "Were you talking? Whose car is that?" And then, I don't know, I asked the public, "Mine's my car. I'm, whatever, say he's from, like, the CIA or something, and they're tracking down KGB agents, and she calls him out on it, and then he takes off. And while she's distracted, Wanda's necklace gets lost, and that has the key in it, because she finds, George gives Ken the key, and Ken hides it in his fish tank, but Wanda catches it, so she takes it out of the fish tank. I didn't realize it till later that he didn't see that, and she hides it in her necklace. So I'm watching this, not realizing she already had the key at first. And I'm like, okay, so she's trying to get the key. She doesn't know that it's there. Apparently she did, because then later when the necklace came out, I'm like, what's so important about this locket? And then she gets it back. Archie gives it to her. She opens it, and the key's inside. I go, oh. I guess I missed that part. Wait, if she has the key, why is she seducing him? Well, because she still needs the location, which is why she's seducing him, because it's like if George tells Archie where the money is, it could give him a plea bargain. So if he finds out where the money is, then she can seduce him and get that information. It all clicked in my head. So it just sort of, even though he's not legally allowed to talk about the client stuff, but, They also end up going to this house out, who knows where, that's like a client of his or something. And it turns out his client is left, and the family gave it to someone else, and the family ends up moving there and catches him naked, which was originally supposed to be Jamie Lee Curtis, but Jamie Lee Curtis didn't want to do nudity after trading places, so she convinced Cleese to do it, and it is kind of funnier with Cleese. But I love the running gag that she just gets turned on by foreign languages. At first it was just Italian, and now it's like any foreign language. She's like up there on the balcony thing, and he starts speaking Italian. She's like, and then he starts speaking. Well, Italian's such a bad language. How about Russian? Starts speaking Russian, and she's like, It reminds me of the Addams Family, French, academia. Speak French, academia, It reminds me of that. But yeah. Also, so the first time they go to this place, Otto shows up and gets in an argument with Archie. There's also another running gag where people keep calling Otto stupid, which he is, and don't call me stupid. It's kind of like the no one calls me chicken thing from Back to the Future. Don't call me stupid. But he kind of is stupid, in the same. And so then Wanda tells him to apologize, so he goes to Archie's house to apologize, and Archie is there staging a break-in. But Otto thinks someone is robbing Archie's house, so he attacks him. Then realizes it's Archie, and has to kind of get out of there because Archie's wife comes back, and that's what Archie has to like put the locket in his mouth so the wife didn't see it, and she thinks that it's been robbed. Then he takes it to her, and then the family shows up and blah blah. There's also another subplot that also was a victim of reshoots, but I think the reshoots work here. There's a subplot where Ken has to kill the old lady who was the witness to the crime so that George could walk free. So he keeps trying to do that, and every time he keeps killing one of her dogs, which I know is not funny, but the way they do it, and originally there was supposed to be blood everywhere, but test audiences hated that, so they made it more comedic, where like a safe or something, he shoots a safe and it lands on the dog, and when the safe's moved, it's like flat, and it did make me laugh. It's terrible, it's bad, but it made me laugh because it was like Looney Tunes, Eventually, all of these dead dogs lead the old lady to have a heart attack, and it's funny because at the beginning he says he's going to do this, and Otto's like, "Ha! I'll bet you £1 you can't do it," and at the end he calls Otto and he's like, "You owe me £1," and it smash cuts to Otto going to the door going, "What? You owe me £1? The old woman, you didn't." "I did. Heart attack." Now, technically, he didn't actually do it, but he did technically cause it. Yeah. So, it's £1 That was like equal to $1 here, I think. Isn't that what it is? I don't know exchange rates. But yeah, and then so you probably this movie is notable for seeing Michael Palin with the one eye, and that the scene I remember from the DVD thing is where Kevin Kline has Michael Palin tied up, and he's got that one eye patch, and he's stuffing French fries or chips up his nose, and I just, what is this? And then the scene continues on in the movie. Of course, he starts eating his fish one by one, raw, teeny tiny fish, and there's no crunch. Little fish are all bone. How does there no crunch? He is. Yeah. And so he's like, where is the key? He talks him into telling him where the key is, but it's not there. And then gets mad and eats the rest of the fish. Then he calls Wanda, wherever the hell she is. He's able to, or does she call him? She calls him. I guess he knows where she is, and she admits she has the key. She put it in her locket. But also, they once the woman is dead, the guy's gonna get off. But then they bring in Wanda to. Archie brings in Wanda to help get him free, but she further incriminates him. So I think he ends up going to prison more. I don't know. The whole thing bursts out in chaos, and I don't remember how it ends. But they end up leaving, and then they have the key. They get the money. They're gonna take off, and so there's a reshoot for the ending, but I couldn't find a solid description of the ending or even a deleted scene on YouTube or anything. There's apparently another ending that's very similar to the ending, but someone says that it ends with her still screwing over Archie, which that's not the one I watched on YouTube. Was very similar to the. I don't know. But everything ends at an airport where they get the money, and they're gonna go to Rio de Janeiro or whatever. And She expects Archie to run away, but because she knocks out Otto, and then is waiting for Archie, and then Archie gets his thing stolen by Otto. There's a scuffle, and Otto forces him by gunpoint to go into a barrel with this gross stuff. By the way, after he gets out, he's just dry again. I don't know. But lo and behold, here comes Ken with a steamroller out of Austin Powers. This, though, makes more sense that he couldn't get away because Otto was stuck in cement that is now hardened. And he's revenge. He keeps on, I'll pay you for the fish. I'm sorry. Revenge! And he runs him over and his stutter is now gone. Because that's how it works. In the original edit, it was bloodier. But no. This change I don't like. Well, the blood or not, I don't know. He gets squished. You can say that the cement took most of it, but he's pretty much dead. But no. So Archie gets hold of the plane ticket, gets on the plane, and they fly off together. But not before we see Otto, inexplicably still alive, hanging onto the wing of the plane and then gets thrown off. Which he also ends up surviving because we get some prologue things, or some epilogue things where Ken no longer has his stutter, and he's doing something. The other two run away together and have 17 kids. I don't know how that works. And I think Otto became like a priest or something. I don't know. So, like I said, the ending was changed. Otto was supposed to be dead, completely dead, and the ending was supposed to have not a happy ending, but the test audiences said that they should end up together, which I guess it works. It works better than the end of just one of the guys, to me. But yeah, I'll give this a pretty good. It's very weird, but oddly it worked. For a first time watch, it was pretty good. So, alright, I am going back to selecting this. Clifford with Martin Short. Oh boy. Alright, so that's the next one. Next week. So, what are your thoughts on A Fish Called Wanda? No comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one. Why is that crooked?